Ronin says that losing to United after the Grimsby loss is a hard no. I hear you on that. It's funny as well, though, Staffy, because I got called out. Well, not called out. Someone phoned in to challenge me yesterday saying, you've got to stop being so extreme. I said, what do you mean? It's like acting like there's any Man United fan out there that's like putting nearly all the blame on Ruben Amorim. Next guest I have on the show is Staffy, that's putting nearly 90% of the blame on Ruben Amorim. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, I swear, I'm saying to people, I keep hearing this silver bullet stuff. I keep hearing this silver bullet snake.
I'll tell you what, you'll never win with this fan base, because I'll tell you why. When Amorim got hired, everyone told me I was living off Ten Hag toxicity, just being manager out to generate clicks. They were like, we'll give you 5 games until you're Amorim out. I gave Amorim all the way until the summer. And to be fair, I really, I would say I started turning on him massively around that Europa League semifinal and the final. Now, I gave him the summer that I stood on business all this whole time. I said, I just want to see him get a summer. He gets a summer, and I see regression rather than progression. And I say, you know what? I'm not seeing what I expected. For that, I can't back this. They say, you know what? You're a flip-flop. You can't win with this fan base. You give someone time, you're a flip-flop. You turn on right away, oh, you're just trying to get views of being manager out. I can't pay attention to this fan base so much. The people who understand logic behind why we support or not support a manager, they get it. If you don't get it, I can't waste my time with you. So you'll never win with them, bro. It's okay.
But it's like one of those memes. I'm just looking at one now, and it's sort of like United appoint new manager, fans back manager.
Cycle, yeah.
Players are the problem when it first starts going wrong. Then it's Rome wasn't built in a day. Then it's this isn't acceptable when Man United. Then it's sack the manager. He's the biggest problem. And it's literally, and that's why I'm pushing back. I'm not disagreeing with a lot of what you've said, but to break the cycle, we have to push for different things, and I can't afford. I don't think
we can get into this debate for hours. I highly disagree with you, but we don't have the time for it. You literally need like a United show, because there's so much that you say that I disagree with you.
Debate,
and you know how I know also, like, I'm not alone.
I'm sorry to say
says a lot of the things as well.
We don't need a show for it. I've been debating this subject for 12 years, and everything I've ever predicted.
Here's where I disagree with you. Right. I think you're lumping in too many things together. When you were saying United need a couple years to be fixed, I disagree with you, because I don't think United need a couple years to play decent football. No one is talking about United being fixed. If your definition of United being fixed, one second, hear me out.
Right. I don't think being fixed is playing nice football. So again, we're already.
Thank you. Hear me out. I was about to say that. Your definition of United being fixed is United winning or competing for the league again. I don't agree with you, because I don't think you need to compete or win the league to be a half-decent team. United week in, week out literally show me they're one of the worst footballing sides in the nation. I don't even know all what you have, like 4, 5 divisions of English football. They are one of the worst every time I watch. Okay. United was losing the league in second place under Ole. Ole was coming out in Old Trafford saying, I'm sorry, I know we're not where we need to be. And he was finishing second behind Liverpool or City that year, whatever the fuck it was. That is not the same issue that I have today. My issue today is not that I'm finishing second. That's why the lazy narratives, I'm not saying you have lazy narratives, but when rivals come to me and say, United have been shit. One second there.
I've got 10 minutes to the subject done, but I don't understand what you're saying.
Hear me out. When people say United have been shit for 13 years, that is not true. United's issue 13 years ago or 10 years ago was not winning the league. United were finishing top 4 or it's finishing 5th and sacking Van Gaal. We were sacking Jose Mourinho after finishing second. We were sacking Ole season after finishing second. The issues that I have today are not the same. The issues that I have today is I am a bottom half of the table team and I don't play football. The reason Ruben Amorim deserves to get sacked is not the same reason Ole deserves to get sacked, or the same reason Ten Hag got sacked, or even the same reason Jose Mourinho got sacked. These guys got sacked for achieving a lot more than him. He's taken us to a lower level. So when you talk about United being fixed, I don't look at United and say you need to compete for the league for me to think you're fixed. United need to play decent football, because I think the recruitment has improved at least over the last couple of years under what's their name, Ineos. I don't have to wait for them to be a league contender to say they're fixed. They need to play better football. And that is something Amorim has not done for over 10 months. Your definition of fix and mine are two different things.
Yeah, well, I won't ever see Man United as fixed until we're able to start competing for league titles. I could see us as a good football.
But you can still be a good team, Terry, even though you're not competing. There's a gray area. We're not in it.
I'm actually getting really angry. When have I ever said we can't be a good team and play good football? When I said that,
because you're going to the extreme, I
No,
don't
I'm
have
not
to
going
say
to the
United
extreme.
are winning the league for me to say United are fixed. Arsenal are fixed and they haven't won the league in 4 years. No one can look at them and say they're bad.
For the league, which is what my definition is. How can I say United are fixed if we play good football but we're coming sixth every year? I wouldn't say that's fixed.
Because United was finishing second and we thought that was bad. So your definition of fixed is way too extreme.
So
I don't have to compete for the league, Terry, to say I'm fixed.
Let me ask you a question. So you think me saying that Man United are not fully and completely fixed until we're able to compete for league titles, you think that's too extreme a standard to have?
Yes, because you're going from one extreme to the other. United the next jump for this United team is not to compete for the league. No, hear me out. If you actually pay attention to what you say, it's going to make a lot of sense. Come back here. Bring your ass back here. Don't do that. I'm talking a lot more sense than you. Come back here. I'm not going to speak until you're back here. I need to make sure you listen to this. I need those headphones to be on.
Staffy just on right now.
Put those headphones on right now. Harry, listen to me. You just asked me a question. Let me answer. I have to answer your question. No. You asked me a question. You have to let me answer, man. You have to let me answer. United winning the league. I'm not saying I don't want to go back to league winners. Of course, that's the ambition. But the issue with me right now is you're going from one extreme to the other. If you always use that example, by the way, about getting in the gym and losing weight. If I want to go back to my prime, I'm not going to say, oh, I need to go right away from this to that. You need to slowly improve. You need to focus on the next target, and slowly but surely, when you get to back, sure, you can. We want to be league contenders again, but it doesn't mean that I didn't get fixed when I'm in that gray area in the middle. If United are somewhere regularly finishing top 4, playing good football, competing for trophies, eventually competing for the league, that means that United have been fixed over the last few years. It doesn't mean that the minute I won the league, there you go, I'm fixed. There's a lot in the middle that we need to achieve. That is to me fixed.
Staffy, the reason why I'm fucking fuming with you as a friend.
Here we go.
No, I'll tell you why, and hopefully you let me finish, is because
I must take what?
I have been a massive advocate and stated and argued with many people for many years about the step change process to getting better. I don't look at we're going to go from 0 to 100 to fixed overnight. I've never once, ever, on a single debate show about Man United, about when I spoke about Arsenal's rebuild, when I spoke about Chelsea's rebuild, the examples I consistently give about how long it's going to take to fix us. I speak about the early years of FSG, what they did in 2010 with Dalglish and into Rodgers, and then when they brought in Jurgen Klopp as an example. This is what I've been speaking about for the better part of a decade, that when you're broken and you're down where we are, I've literally said this on streams, and this is the bet I've made people. I've offered to pay people's rent, and I've gone, can you find me an example of a team that as big as United that are broken and been finished for a decade, how they've just hired a new manager and suddenly got back to the peak of their powers? I've asked that question 1,000 times and said it does not exist, and it's going to take years to fix us to get us back to that point. What I've also said on so many occasions, Staffy, and I'm not advocating for anything different, is that what fans need to see is a step change. And like I've said, if a new guy comes in tomorrow and we suddenly start to win more games and we play good football, then there'll be more patience for that manager. That's why I advocate and have said about 8 times in the last 3 months, I completely understand why football fans of Man United want to see Ruben Amorim gone. I have been so balanced in this conversation. And the fact that I've been one of the only advocates out there that's pushed for the fact that you can't just go, because me and Lee Gunner read about this a lot, where he didn't like the step change. We didn't like the phases or whatever the phrase you want to use. Just go win. And I said, it isn't as easy as that when you're broken down in the dumps. So for you to misrepresent me in that way, like that's what I'm asking for, is fundamentally crazy to me.
I'm not misrepresenting. I'm using your words.
No, but I haven't ever said that. I've never ever
once the things you say. You said we're years away from being fixed.
Yes, I think it would take, with the right manager who improves us, how you've said, incrementally over time, I think for a guy to come in with the right style, to make us play the football that we want, to start winning more games, and to build the squad, and to become good enough to challenge to win league titles.
I think not fixed. You're asking for perfection. Perfection and fixed are two different things.
Let's people just think you Arsenal, man.
I'm tired of the toxicity right now. You're demanding perfection. You're not demanding us to be fixed.
You said, let me finish. You think I'm demanding you. So I just want to make sure me and you agree on this. So you think the demanding of perfection is me expecting a manager and a club over a 3 to 4, maybe even a 5-year period to build a squad with the money we spend. You think expecting that team to be able to challenge for a league title is asking too much.
No, it's not your expectations. I want to thrive for perfection. I want our club to be perfect and to compete for the league and to do everything that you just said. But you just named a lot of things that if it happens, it does make you a perfect club and a perfect team. That also does not mean that you're not fixed. Fixing and perfection are two different things. I want United to recruit well, have a manager with a good system, have competent players, have a board that knows how to run the club, and with all that, we will be regularly competing for the league. You are not wrong for saying that. But to name that being fixed, that is not the truth. Chelsea right now are fixed compared to what they were in Poch. It doesn't mean that they went to where they were, but look at Chelsea. They're back. Chelsea are fixed in terms of they have good recruitment, they have good players, they're finishing in the top 4, they're back in the Champions League, and they're competing for trophies. They're not a perfect club, but they're fixed. When you look at them under what's his name, Graham Potter and Poch, that was a broken team. You don't have to become everything that you just named to say I'm fixed. United are literally a manager away, in my opinion, who just plays a 4-3-3 from being a competent team again. That team is not going to compete in the league. That team is not going to finish in top 4 regularly, but it's a fixed solution to where we are right now. You don't have to wait 4 years to get a manager who's going to play at midfield 3.
I have
don't have
never
to wait for that.
This is where you're twisting my words. Can you cite me now?
No,
and
but that's the word fixed. I'm using the word fixed because your definition of fixed is extreme compared to mine.
We've had these debates in the group chat. Forget that I'm using the word fixed. Listen to what my definition of it is.
That's the whole argument. The argument was built on the word fixed.
Let's stop arguing over what you think by... We've done this before in the group chat where you were like, I don't objectively support someone, Terry does. And then when we broke it down in the group chat about how we both would support a player that we don't rate, it was basically the same thing. I view fixed as challenging for the league title. You view fixed as being a manager that's making us play competently. So we disagree on using the word fixed. But we both agree that that's a change that's needed to ever get back for challenging. I've never ever said anything different from that. But you are using my interpretation of when I would believe the team to be fixed and adding an element of me saying I don't expect the step change, and that is never ever once what's come out of my mouth ever.
Because you sit on the match. I watched the match reaction, last match reaction, and I messaged KJ. I was like, "You're the only one, in my opinion, who's speaking sense today." I don't have to sit after a match reaction where we got pumped 3-0 and say we're years away from being fixed. We are literally a manager away of not getting pumped 3-0. That it is that simple. I don't want you to say it. That's your opinion, and that's fair. I think you're wrong. I don't think you should be using your platform to promote that we need years. You gotta let me finish.
No,
we
I
are not years.
I want to ask you a question on the show. Do you agree that we're at least 3 or 4, maybe 5 years away from competing for a league title?
At the pace that we're moving at, it's probably more than that. I'll be honest.
Even longer. So you absolutely agree with me. This is why this is a crazy debate. When I say
because of the pace we're moving at, the pace can change if you change this fucking manager right now.
When I say fixed, I mean competing for a league title. When you say fixed, you mean playing much better football and being more competent. We both agree.
I think AC Milan in their worst era, they still picked up a league before us. There's solutions in there, Terry. I don't have to sit here after every loss and say we need 3-4 years. You just need the right actions. We're not even in the right actions for me to predict 3-4 years.
Bro, I love you, but you're missing the point completely. I agree with what you said. It shouldn't take. This is the bit. You're just agreeing over the word fixed. Just forget the word fixed. We both agree.
After the match reaction, you said it. That's your word.
It's because you're taking the way I mean it, the way you mean it. Forget the word fixed. It's irrelevant. I think fixed is challenging for a league title. You think fixed is a manager coming in and making us play better football and being more competent. I wouldn't use the word fixed on that, but we both agree that could happen quite quickly. There's nothing to argue about barring the word fixed. The issue is you're hearing the word fixed, and what you're not doing is seeking to understand my meaning and going, well, I think fixed is just playing well. Terry's a fucking idiot if he thinks that's take 3 or 4 years. I don't think fixed is playing well. I think it's playing well, a strong squad, a brilliant manager, and a team that's ready to win the league title. We just both use the word fixed differently, but we agree on the process. So there's nothing to argue about.
I guess, bro. I made my points. We're just going in circles. The chat can let us know when you agree with.
You're not going in circles. This happened in the group. You're just not listening and understanding that my interpretation of fixed is different. But I totally agree with what you've said. I think Areola could come into this team, and there's a brilliant possibility that he makes us harder to beat, win more games by 20-25%, and make 100%. And I think that can happen. I think that can happen in the space of a month. I think that could happen. We don't disagree with one another. I just wouldn't
talk about that. Talk about it after we lose games. Don't tell people we are years away. We're not years away from being a half decent team. That is the wrong message to send after we lose games like we've been losing this season.
I get your point now, but this is the issue that you've got. Maybe this is why sometimes in life you've got to ask people what they mean by, what do you mean by fixed? What do you mean by world class? Because when people tell me they think we can be fixed, and I go, what do you mean? They're like, I don't think we're far away from challenging. So I'll challenge. So whenever you hear me say fixed, I'm talking about challenging. Don't ever assume I mean just playing good football, because I would never categorize that as Manchester United being fixed. Because me and you had that same argument, and you were on my side with Hussam and Mo earlier in the summer when they were like, if you get Belieber, you're fixed. And we're like, we're nowhere near going to be fixed with that one signing. So look, from my point,
I kept the same energy.
Let's do these super chats here, because and by the way, ladies and gentlemen, we've got no time for the Arsenal things. I've got to go out, so that's done now. We're not going to have time for that on the show today. I'm very sorry. Never thought I would.
Of course, look at done, man.
Persistently schooled Terry on common sense, brother. Make it make sense. I'm actually fuming. I'm fuming that I can't believe it's over a difference in the stages of the word fixed. Whenever you're in an argument and one person ignores the context and purposely hyper focuses on semantics, there is nothing to argue about anymore. And I agree. I can't believe this is all about the word fixed.
I don't think I've done that.
You've completely argued that. One more thing, the PFA will know you're publicly targeting. Did Sterling play for Arsenal on loan? Did he fuck players' welfare? What a load of shit. You suddenly care all of a sudden. Oh, I see you're trying to look strong. I hear that.
Yeah, we didn't even get to speak about that, but yeah, facts.
You want us to break the cycle by keeping a man that has shown... No, sorry, Joshua Jack. I've not said I want us to keep Ruben Amorim. I've not said it on one single show. I've said I'm absolutely open to him going. What I have said is I don't want us to change complete and utter direction. I don't want us to go, right, all the players have signed are no good anymore. I have not said I don't want us to sack Ruben Amorim. Why is that so hard, with all due respect, for anybody to understand? I'm talking
to be fair,
about...
Terry didn't say that. I agree.
I'm talking about the bigger picture that, in my interpretation of fixing us, needs to happen. Because if we keep starting again, we're never going to get to that 4 to 5 year period where we could challenge, because we're always just going around on a hamster wheel. Yes, we might play nice football for a period, but that will only make us happy for a certain period of time. History proves that to us. United need more than a new manager. You are busted as a club. You need a complete rebuild from top to bottom.
To do what? To win the league. I have not once talked about winning the league. Stop talking about United fans need to get over the glory days. Like, that's all the objective.
This is the craziest bit, Staffy. I completely agree with everything you've said. The only thing we disagree on is your interpretation of fixed and mine. But we agree on everything else. Not a debate. It's not exactly.
But I'm answering the super chat. Because I don't need a rebuild to play better football than Bournemouth. What rebuild has Bournemouth done? Bournemouth have played better football than me for 2 seasons now. People need to stop overcomplicating stuff. Football is simple. Use your eyes. Sometimes that's all you need. I don't need to rebuild the club to play decent football. This stadium has like 7,000 fans, bro. Relax. Not everything is that to that extreme. Not you. Now this is the super chat. People need to stop talking about United in the same sentence of where we were 10, 15, 20 years ago. I don't have to live in the glory days to look at my club and say, at least I'm proud to be a United fan. At least I'm proud of the football that we play. At least I'm proud that we're competing. United didn't win the league every year in the 100+ years that they existed. There was ups and there was downs. But this is one of the worst periods because we're just a joke of a club right now. And we play trash football every week. It doesn't mean that I have to be the Busby Babes again, or I need to be Sir Alex Ferguson to be a fixed club. There's an in-between. Just get me back to that. Stop the whole rebuild thing every time United is being mentioned.